You're listening to Spreaker Web Radio.
I can't get off my horse, and I can't let you go. You are the one who makes me feel so real. Yeah. Oh, what am I supposed to do? Oh, what am I supposed to do, baby, when I'm so hooked up on you? Then I realize that you
That's right, that's right. Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is your boy on the wheels of steel, the ones and ticketed twos. Right here on the Soul FM, we have a treat for you all tonight. I am just utterly elated to be able to interview this wonderful, wonderful person. And unless you've been living in a cave since the late 70s and 80s, you have heard Jocelyn Brown's voice at one point or another. As cliched as it sounds, if the term disco diva appeared in a dictionary, a picture of Jocelyn Brown would most likely be played next to its definition. Brown's immensely power-packed and impassioned voice has been the lead behind several definitive and timeless disco classics, and it has also been present in background roles on numerous others. Short-lived disco groups like Inner Life and Music hit the upper reaches of the dance charts in large part due to Brown's contributions, and she has also had success as a solo performer. Producer Patrick Adams, an associate of Brown's, during her time, during her time spent with Inner Life and Music, has referred to Brown as one of the greatest vocalists he has ever known. After becoming familiar with the vocalist's scattered but rich discography, it's hard to disagree with that observation. Man, it comes to no surprise after hearing Brown's voice to learn that her background is rooted in gospel. Born in 1950 in Kingston, South Carolina, Brown grew up in a very musical and religious family. Several members of her family participated in church choirs and performed as minstrel singers. But it was her aunt, Barbara Roy, also known as Barbara Gaskin, a member of disco group Ecstasy, Passion and Pain, who helped inspire her to move on to secular music. Here we go. But with no further ado, I'd like to say hello to you, Miss Jocelyn Brown.
Hi there.
How are you? How are you?
I'm fine. I am so fine.
Wonderful.
It's wonderful.
Oh my goodness, you don't know. This is just the biggest treat for us that you can imagine. We are so thankful to you all, to you that I'm stuttering. I'm literally, and I don't do that much. So your background is rooted in gospel. That's right.
That's right.
And when
that's right.
So your mom and your family you guys kind of from the gospel background, and then your aunt, of course, she just introduced you to other music.
In a sense like that, the main thing was that, I'm from North Carolina, and being down there, in the woods, country girl, church Baptist at that time.
Right.
You weren't allowed to listen to no rock and roll. You only listened to gospel music, and if you did listen to rock and roll, you better sneak it in, so nobody else know that you're doing it. So.
That's right. That's right. Back in the day, my mama used to always tell me, I don't want you doing that boogie woogie. I want you to get into the Lord's business.
And the main line was don't straddle the fence. You
yes.
gotta be on one side or the other,
That's right. They said do not straddle the fence. You had a problem if you did. You had to you had to play your music in the background and the back door.
Yes, indeed.
Most
That's
definitely.
right,
Most definitely. So you're when you were a child, around what age did you decide for yourself that you wanted to go secular?
Well, the thing was is that I had no intentions of becoming a singer. I was going to go to school to be a veterinarian,
Wow.
And then something, and my aunt and them called me up and said, well, we all lived in the same building with each other in Brooklyn, and my aunt needed me to step in and do a background session with her and my cousin Brenda, because they were called Barbara and Brenda at the time. And I got on a gig with them, and it was with Gene Pitney, and they put me in there to just sing top. And
Wow.
I started doing background work with them, and I started at 15.
Okay.
15 years old doing background session work,
Wow. At 15
Yeah.
years old. What did your mom have to say?
Well, my mother was a Christian woman. She loved the Lord, and she and my aunt was saying they were called the Gaskin sisters,
Okay.
and they did nothing but gospel music. So, my mom always looked at it as, you know, when you sing, you know, your heart had to be in the right place, because you can sing anything and it be good, but, you know, if your heart's in the right place, it's going to put you in a great presence, you know. And
That's right.
if God has a message for you to deliver, either it be secular or gospel, it'll be delivered, and he's going to take you where he wants you to go. So she never kind of crowded my path or made me feel any kind of way, you know, about how I performed or what happened. But, you know, I remember the business came to me as a business. It didn't come to me as a situation where, oh, I want to sing, or I want to be, you know, I want to be this or I want to be that. It came to me on a different kind of level. But, you know, learning and understanding what it meant to do, it was the other thing.
That's right.
And knowing that God was always present at all times. We always prayed before we did any kind of background session work, and, you know, put God first, and he always allowed us to be delivering what we need to deliver, you know, with the utmost of our ability. And, you know, so, you know, my mom was a good woman. She just loved it. My mother sang jazz, too, you know, in the house. She didn't sing it outside anywhere. But, you know, in the house, she'd be singing all that stuff by Nat King Cole and Sarah Vaughan and all that kind of stuff, because my mother could really, really sing.
Right,
She had a wonderful voice, you know. Yeah. You know, you wake up in the morning at 6 o'clock before you get ready to go to school and stuff, and your mom's in the kitchen singing, I mean, a cappella.
Wow.
And you just, you know, you mesmerized. I was a mesmerized child by that anyway, because she could just sing for me. And then she got me and said, Joe, my nickname was Joe.
Oh.
Come on and strike up a tune with me, baby. And, you know, and that meant you better find that harmony note and not be wrong, you know. You know, and she looked at you and said, you ain't been listening, have you? You ain't been listening to what we talking about, huh? So, yes, ma'am, I've been listening, you know. She said, come on now.
That's right.
You know, so,
oh,
yeah, my mommy
goodness.
was a good woman.
My goodness. Do you have any sisters or brothers?
Oh, do I have sisters and brothers? Yes, I do. I've got 11 sisters and brothers. You know, I'm the eldest of all of them.
You're the eldest. Wow.
Uh-huh.
So
my father was a pioneer, okay? my mother had 3, and then he had 2 other wives, and they brought in the rest, you know.
Oh, okay, so you just got a lot of family.
Yeah, I guess you call him a rolling stone.
Papa
you know?
was a rolling. Oh my
yes, he
goodness!
Was, you know?
Oh my goodness! You know, that's all right though, because you know what? When you have back then, I always thought that my parents used to tell me, you know, back then when you had family, you know, yeah, your daddy had another wife or whatever, but you know, the children all kind of grew up together. You know,
yes.
And it wasn't like it is now, where you know you call my half sister, my half brother.
Yeah.
They're still brother and sister regardless. And I think that along the line, somewhere between, I don't want to say a rap music or R&B music, but somewhere our musical interests changed the thought process of our youth. What do you think we could? I mean, back then when your music was up and popping, I mean, it was life. Life was good. You know, what do you think happened?
Well, we got into a trend because, you know, there was a time in my youth that I said my mother didn't understand a word. She didn't understand me. She didn't say where I was coming from. And, you know, I can't wait till I get grown, you know. I can't wait till I turn 18 and all that kind of stuff. I said that, like the youth is saying that today, but the mothers and the fathers of that time grew up from another kind of raising. They had another kind of commitment to family, you know, and that was to raise a child, you know, and not spare the rod. And we now in this generation, and the past 3 generations, have had an input of conversation from youth that have been battered, left alone, you know, abandoned, hurt, you know, not fulfilled with love, you know, the love, the family gathering and the family togetherness hasn't all been there. So a lot of those youth found their escape in talking, you know, and talking a language.
Right. And
the language that they talked about was something that they only understood. They felt that they only understood, you know. They didn't think anybody else understood it. But they didn't realize that it was them being so angry and so upset that their vocal allows them to be separated.
That's right.
You know, and in separation, it meant the mothers and the fathers said, I can't take it. These kids don't want to listen. They're doing this mess. They're talking this mess. And, we can't communicate with them. And, the Bible says that fathers will, sons will be against fathers and daughters will be against mothers. There'll be a time when all this was going to happen.
That's right.
And we were supposed to go back to the grain, go back to the old way,
Right.
to rearrange all that, to bring back the love, and to bring back the respect. So I think the kids found an escape, and we didn't get up, we didn't stand up. We didn't stand up like we should have and tear that butt up,
Come on now.
and make them realize that this is not the way, but this is the way.
That's right.
We had the power to do that, but we got, some of us were scared of our kids, you know what I'm saying?
That's right. Yeah, you're right.
They didn't know what to do with them. And
that's right.
That wasn't the way my grandma said, I don't care how old you are.
That's right. We got beat.
I don't care how old, I tear your tail up.
That's right. We understood what the word "I'm gonna tear your behind up" meant. It didn't mean go sit in the corner for 5 minutes. It didn't mean I'm gonna take your PlayStation away. It meant I'm gonna tear you up, and I want you to go get that strap, and I don't come back with a little strap. Come back with something big.
That old-fashioned thing, that switch?
Oh, yeah.
Going out there and find me a switch and don't come back here with no stick, no little bit of twig.
And they used to braid them. You come back with 3, they braid it up.
Oh, girls, I used to get it like that. I ain't gonna tell no tale. Yes, sir.
Wait, hold up. You got your butt whooped?
What? Child, please. You must be joking. Sure enough did. And would tell you too, come twist the skirt the whole 9 yards.
Man, oh
yes,
man.
Indeed. Meet you at the corner and all that, you know what I'm saying?
my goodness. Man, I can remember going before we actually moved to Louisiana. My great-great-grandfather used to come and visit him from Puerto Rico, and he used to sit on the porch all the time, and he said, if you act up, I'm going to take this piece of leather. And he had a leather piece, just a piece of leather, and he had it cut up into little bitty pieces, and it had like little lines. He said, I'm going to wet it. He said, I'm going to wear you out. And I said, ain't that some kind of child abuse? And what did I say that for?
That's right. Let me show you what child abuse is. That was a line. As a matter of fact, you mean you got something to say?
Exactly. Like, what? You talking back? Oh, no. It wasn't no such thing as having a conversation with your children. See, today, I told my daughters one day, I said, the way you and I talk, it wasn't like that back then. Your parents told you to go to your room and play with your toys. It wasn't no conversation that kids had with their parents. And you didn't give an opinion because you'd get your behind whooped.
Toe up.
Exactly.
You get toe up. And my grandmother always tell me a child should be seen and not heard.
That's
and
right.
when grown folks is talking, you youngins go out. Yes, they go out there and sit on the porch or go sit in the living room somewhere while grown folks is talking, These kids come in and think they got more conversation than us.
Absolutely.
But,
Absolutely.
there's one thing that does prevail, God is faithful.
Oh,
he
yes.
will make that young person come back around to the front line and deal.
That's right.
They have to deal, and I'm grateful because I'm grateful to know that in my life, yes, I sing secular music and all that kind of stuff, but I'm rooted in Jesus.
Come on now.
Nothing and no one can change that about me in my life.
Come on now.
And that's been my saving grace with my children.
Oh, yes, sir. I tell people all the time, I do a show on Sundays, which is a gospel show, and I don't say preach the word, I teach the word on Sundays. And somebody sent me an email a while back and said, how could you play music, secular music, Monday through Saturday, and you preach it on Sunday? I said, that's what God told me to do. I said, so you got it twisted. I said, because there's nowhere in the Bible that it says you can't. Music is music.
No.
Music is music.
The Bible says, spare the child, spoil the child and spare the rod.
That's right, spare the rod, spoil the child.
You can't do that. You got to tear that butt up.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Let me ask you a question. So, what are your fondest memories when it comes to your career?
I'm so sorry. Say that one more time.
What are your fondest memories when it comes to your career?
Realizing that people, you work with some great, great people, and my sister and I writing somebody else's guy together, hearing an audience stand up and sing all the words to a song, and knowing that they're not singing it because they're just trying to, act like as if they don't care, but they really appreciate and love the song, and then knowing that faith carries you through. Even though you might come across real serious railroad, you better be rooted in faith so that you can make it through there.
That's right. That is right. Man, I got to tell you, I wanted to stop for a minute. I have one of your cousins and your cousin and her husband in the chat room, Jana. And
really?
Yeah, in the chat room, and her husband, Haas. Well, we know him as Haas, but his name is Harold. We have them in the chat room, and I just wanted to let you know that they're in there.
Hey, right on.
Yes, indeed. And I also wanted to. I had another question for you. We have so many questions floating around. Let me just, as a matter of fact, they also so much music that we have downloaded as well. Let me just get to the question. I have a question from, let's see, where is it at? A question from Deedles, and she hails from Illinois. And her question to you is, what was it like working with Bette Midler?
The most intense and the most outrageous and the most educational thing I've ever experienced in my career. She was the bomb.
Wow.
She really, really respected talent. She really respected being a woman in talent, and she was one of the pioneers. She was one of the pioneers that got out there and broke the barrier for us before Barbra Streisand in doing motion picture work.
Wow.
But she did it on the musical level. And I had an opportunity. She acted up. She did a lot of cussing and stuff like that. but the fact of the presentation, the fact of her being a producer and directing this movie was intense. I was out in California for 3 months doing this whole situation and realizing, because that was a big blessing for me, because I had never done anything like that before. So it was quite impressive, and it was monumental in my life.
Wow, that's amazing. Amazing. I would have never thought that. Growing up, I can remember Bette Midler, but I never would have thought that she had that type of influence on people. Because I just never, growing up, you never thought of her as that, just the funny lady, That was it. But that's great. That is great. And I also have a question. This question comes from DJ. She's one of our DJs, DJ Jazzarella, and she hails from New Jersey. And she and she wants to know, how did you come to sing with Incognito, and how long were you with Incognito?
There was this gentleman over here named Norman Cook. When I got over here in 1989, 1991, 92, 90, I moved over here definitely in 1990. So 1991, I met Norman, and Norman called me up one day and said, "Jocelyn, would you like to sing with a band over here called, that's doing some, what they call it, rare groove over here?" And I said, "Sure." I said, "Well, what kind of rare groove are we talking about?" He said, "Well, more jazzy, soulful, funk stuff." I said, "Sure." And I had never heard of Incognito before, so I got a chance to go to Angel Studios and meet Bluey from Incognito. Okay. And he placed me in the studio, and I was in the room with the whole band, everybody, and did the song live. And it was like one of the most intense moments of my life again, because it stepped me up into a position to get to know musicians over here, producers over here, and another sound of music over here, And for me, being able to sing background and lead allowed me to just jump all over and up and in there and have some fun. I just acted totally up and enjoyed every moment of it, never anticipating the song to do what it did.
Wow.
Because you know what? I've learned that you never put your eggs in a basket and leave them there. You know,
That's right.
You go and do your job, you do the work, you love it, you respect it, and you have a great time, and you leave it alone.
That's right.
Go on about your business to the next job, to the next adventure, the next journey, because whatever's going to come out of that, it's going to come out of it, you know, and there's no need for you to do no more than what you should. You did your job.
That's right.
And I was blessed, and to this day still, you know, I'm so humbled to how people really respect that song and the work that we did.
You know, your career put such a huge impact on a lot of us who are listeners of your music now. We still listen to it because it tells a story. And I feel like if we had more entertainers like you who continue to work and continue to come on what we call the small people, because we're not a big radio station, you know, and a lot of people, we can't even get them to talk to us without talking price, you know. And but what people, I love the fact about you that you see that we love you for who you are, for your music and for your spirit, and it means so much to us. So much.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. You don't know how much that means to me too. You know, I'm not in my country. I'm in another country. I'm in London, England.
Yes.
And this is not my land. This is not my home. This is not my people. But this is a place where I have learned to achieve things because of my work ability and because of God blessing me. You know, and believe me, when I'm not being at home, I don't feel, you know, the support and what I know I would support to get if I was home. I mean, when I go perform, people love the show and all that kind of stuff, but I go back to my world. I don't speak English, you know, I don't speak British. I speak American. I'm a black woman, you know, and I'm a black American woman, so my life is fried chicken, you know, grits and eggs and bacon and all that kind of stuff. And these people don't eat that. They have, you know, liver sausages and all that kind of stuff, and that's not on my table. But their humbleness and their love for music has allowed me to keep succeeding, you know. But believe me, I miss home so much. And, you know, to give a little bit more inkling on it, you know, the singers of my time are suffering because there's no support for them.
That's right.
No one's supporting them. No one's remembering, like D-Train and all those guys, you know, Colonel Abrams and, you know, Joyce Sims and
that's right.
All those people that gave great money, gave great dance stuff. You know, there's no one calling them. There's no one saying, come perform, you know.
Right.
And that's painful, you know.
It is painful.
They have to go somewhere else to find the money and find the support and find the living ability.
It is. It is. As a matter of fact, I'm glad you said D-Train. I want to give him a shout out because we will be interviewing him next.
I know, my boy.
Yes, indeed. So let me ask you a question. What was it like? What is it like living in London? I mean, like you said, the food is different and the people are different. What made you? Is it the fact that you have more? You're available for more shows and things. What made you leave the U.S.?
Well, when I got over here, they had only seen me one time. They saw me when I did Top of the Pops with somebody else's guy. They had never seen me before then.
Okay.
And when I got over here, they found out that I was here, and people wanted to hear me perform. They wanted to see me, and that's what happened. I've been over here doing, you know, all the old stuff, Ain't No Mountain High Enough, and Somebody Else's Guy, and Keep On Jumping, and Something's Going On in My Soul, all that stuff over here, and they appreciate it. They call you. They want to see you, you know, and they make sure that you understand why they're calling you, because they want to hear that soul. London, England, matter of fact, just England itself is so soulful. If from the north to the south, you can find soul organizations that don't do nothing but listen to our stuff back in the day.
Absolutely.
And, you know, so my survival came because I was doing jingles, I was doing background sessions, I was doing lead sessions back home, but they all went out because the business went out. You know, everything became more mechanical and more, you know, digital than anything else, and then rap took over and knocked a lot of people out of the pocket, you know, so we have to survive.
That's right.
And I didn't want to leave, but I had to survive.
Right.
And there wasn't enough to keep us going, so I came over here They picked up the tab. They supported me and my children and my career, and it's allowed me to be able to have a life over here. But now, me loving London, this where I live is more like in the South, like, you know, in the country.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
I don't live in the city. I don't live in London itself. I live outside of London.
Oh, okay.
And I'm a country girl, so I like I like the trees and the grass,
Right.
you know, the farm areas and all that kind of stuff. I'm not into the buildings and the concrete and all that kind of stuff. I left that back at home.
Right.
I can go back there, you know, and see that. But yeah, I like it because I know I can have a life. And if I go to the grocery store and they look at me twice to say, "Are you Jocelyn Brown?" And I say, "Oh," sometimes I say, and then other times I say, "Yes," you know. But I don't get bombarded. I don't get dealt with on that level of disrespect or anything or invasion. I get respected, and I live a life. I live a proper life over here without a hassle.
That's right. That's right. I'm reading the chat room because somebody said that they couldn't hear any sound. I'm trying to see. Let me see here. Sometimes it does that, but that's all right because we keep on. I always say the devil's a liar.
He is.
He's
and he's
a
under our
liar.
feet. And
And
he's
a
under
thief.
our feet. Yes, he is.
Okay, so some are saying they can't hear. So what we're going to do is we're going to go just into the music. We're going to put a song on just so I can see
Okay.
what's going on here. And let's see here. Put a song on just so we can see what's going on. You're right here, live and candid interview with Jocelyn Brown right here on the Soul FM.
I don't want nobody else.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about. You are listening to the Soul FM right here. We are at a candid live interview with none other than the world-renowned Jocelyn Brown. And I am just elated and happy, and I am so very thankful that she has taken the time out of her schedule, and none other than being in another country right now. What time is it out there? 1 second. What time is it out there?
You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Okay, what time are you? Is it late out there or early morning or?
Of course. It's 1:39 in the morning.
Oh, now see y'all, look at that. She is up at 1:30 in the morning just for us. Isn't that's a blessing right there? Because a whole lot of people would have been like, look, you're going to have to catch me on the slick, bruh.
No.
Yes, indeed.
No.
We have
We
a
know that
question.
you're at home.
Yes, indeed. We have a question from Northern Lights, and she hails from Winnipeg, Canada. And her question is, what is it like to be the soaring voice sampled on the 90s hit I've Got the Power by Snap?
Ooh, that was some deep stuff. But you know, I've learned a big lesson about things that happen like that. There's a lot of sisters and brothers that have been sampled and never respected. And that was one as well that's not been respected. But I'm still fighting to get recognition from that and still giving Warner Brothers a hard time, making them realize that they have to make this happen and respect and let the world know that that is my voice, that is I am the one who's doing it. It isn't Snap who's doing it. Snap sampled it. You know, it made me feel kind of strange in the very beginning. I was angry, I was upset, but I learned something that taught me the biggest lesson in the world, and that is, you know, you never know how God takes a route for you.
That's right.
You never know how He supports your career in your life. People heard me all over the world and didn't know who I was.
That's
and
right.
when they finally found out who, or some have come to recognition of knowing who I am, I'm respected so much for it, and I'm grateful. So I'm not fighting anymore. I'm just dealing with them to make sure that the respect is given. You know, and that's really it. You know, no more anger, no more upset. Just respect me. That's all.
Well, you know, it took your fans a long time to get to that point of not being angry. I know for one, it took me a long time to even respect to respect them as entertainers, to respect them, period. Because I said, you know, the way your fans looked at it was that they wanted to put somebody in there who was your quote unquote size 2, 19 feet tall with long hair and fake green eyes, you know.
Yes.
And you don't, and as growing up, especially as African Americans growing up, you knew that what real people look like. Real people aren't a size 2. You know,
That's right.
Real people
That's
eat
right.
fried chicken and macaroni and cheese with all the high
Thank
blood
you.
pressure and everything else.
Come on now.
You know, so it was disheartening for them to even go there and for the song to be such a big hit behind your voice. And I felt
You're
like
right.
you would have been a skillionaire had they did what they were supposed to do.
Yeah, but you got to remember something too. It's a business, and it's a business that doesn't have any love, no respect, no care, and no concern. It is a monopolizing business that monopolizes with money,
Right.
not with feelings, not with anything like that. So you have to step out of that arena in order to save yourself. Because how many of our artists have we lost? You know, oh, they don't love me anymore. They don't play my music anymore. They don't
right.
support me anymore. I can't get a deal. I can't this. I can't that. But you know, that's nothing to do with them. We are supposed to always keep reinventing ourselves. That's why we are singers. We are people that build and we create pictures and we bring songs, you know, so you have to keep singing. You have to keep bringing songs to people's attention. So you can't just leave it with them and say, well, if they don't do this for me, it's not going to get done. No, if you don't do it for yourself, it won't get done.
That's right. That's right. Everybody is laughing at me in the chat room because they said my brother Dimitri, he said, dang, he's still mad. And
He's still mad.
I am passionate about my music, and that just really bothered me a lot. And every time I think back on it, I mean, I'm glad you're in a peaceful place, because some of us aren't.
And I'm grateful, because that means that y'all are praying for me, and you're pushing the envelope to making it right.
That's right.
Which is, what could you ever ask for those who you don't even know who are supporting you? And I'm grateful.
That's
and I'm
right.
thankful. I'm humble to that, But I got to let them know that, the longer we hold on to anger and hold on to disappointments and disagreeing, the longer it takes for us to move ahead.
Amen.
And we have to let go.
Amen.
We have to let go and let God, and be knowing that He's going to handle it. Because, what else do I have to lean on?
That's right.
I can't lean on no building, because it's going to collapse.
Come on now.
One day.
Come on now. Don't make me throw the
So
Bible at you. Come on.
Yes.
Man, did you ever? This question comes from. Let's see. Let me see where this question came from. Okay. This question comes from our very own owner of UrbanSouls.com, the Marshall. He would like to know: did you ever think in your life that song, Somebody Else's Guy, was so huge and is still so huge today?
No, never. I wrote that song, my little sister and I, about a personal experience that we both had with two different gentlemen, in our lives, and we came together and wrote that song, and I only performed it with my band in New York. And it wasn't even the way y'all hear it now. It was a honky-tonk blues, back in the gut bucket kind of song that I was singing, and folks loved it back then. But a friend of mine who was working with, oh my God, can't remember the band's name right now, but he came to me and he said, Jocelyn, why don't you put in the front? And I said, get out of here. That's not going to sound so Bama. And he said, no. He said, no, it won't. He said, it sounds good. So I put it there, and it became the signatory of the song from that time on. And the new groove and everything else put to it, and my band playing the rest of it that you hear that's on the tracks and stuff, and it made it happen. But I had no idea ever that it would do what it did, even though Somebody Else's Guy took me through some changes too.
That's right.
I had some real serious situations with that was very discomforting to my family and myself. But like I said before, God's forever faithful. He doesn't take you anywhere and leave you there. He takes you there for a reason, for you to remember. And, we got to remember that no matter what you get and no matter how much you achieve, don't go off your head now. Don't be acting like this, I made it, because you ain't made it. You understand?
That's right.
There's no making it. There's a continuation of doing your journey, because this is a journey. This is not the utopia of life. No, it is the journey, and utopia is when when you go and meet the Lord, so if you're not looking at it like that, then you're going to always have disappointment, and you're going to always be upset, because it's never going to turn the way that you want, which is like money, success, I'm this and I'm that, and it's not going to be like that,
That's right.
All of that will come as it's needed, so you just got to take your time and chill out. Chill out.
That's
Do the right thing.
Has there ever been a time where you were performing and you fumbled or had a mistake during a performance, and how did you overcome it?
Okay, say that one more time, because you were breaking up.
Has there ever been a time where you fumbled during a performance, and how did you handle that?
When I was doing a performance?
Yes.
And I was down, feeling out of the pocket?
Yeah, did you fumble? Like, how you go through a performance and you think you have it all together, and you maybe miss a line or you miss a step, or have you ever gone through that, and did you laugh your way out of it?
Come on, yes. Are you serious? Yes, indeed. Let me tell you something. I am, perfection is God, not me, what I'm saying? So I'm going to make errors and mistakes, and sometimes I might hit a couple of bad notes up and in there, But remembering that it's not about your performance, it's about the deliverance of your performance, And if you're delivering from your heart and your soul, no matter how many times, I was on stage and I was so hoarse, I couldn't even get through the whole song, so I had to drop. I couldn't sing the song in the registers. I had to sing it, and I had to drop it down. The audience sang with me. They just sang everything, and I ad-libbed. You know what I'm saying? And I said, God has a way of doing things to let you know, I want you on stage because I want people to hear what I have to give them.
That's
and
right.
feel what is there. You might not be able to deliver it like you want to deliver it, but you're delivering it like I want you to deliver it. So, we have to always remember, this is not our platform.
That's right.
This is God's platform, and you've been
right.
blessed to have a great gift. Stand up on your platform and do what the Lord tells you to do and sing your heart out, Sing till you can't sing no more and know what He's doing. He's doing something through you for somebody out there.
That's right.
Somebody out there needs to hear it. Somebody out there needs to be touched. So of course I've messed up and hit some bad notes every once in a while. Child, please. And even had to go back to myself and say, "Ooh, Jocelyn, girl, what was that?"
Now we have a question. Ditos wants to know also, how did it feel being chosen to sing the national anthem for the first ever regular season NFL game played on foreign soil?
Yes. What was it like?
Yes.
Yeah, it was cold, but it was freezing out there. But it was an honor because they chose this little black girl from North Carolina to stand up there in the middle of the Wembley Stadium to sing this song for my brothers and my sisters from America, and to sing it to my best ability, a cappella, mind you, and I did with my boots on and the whole 9 yards of my coat. And it was more about knowing that they chose me to stand up there to represent, and I did the best that I could. And I hope that, everyone respected what I did, and, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. I was so grateful.
Wonderful. I mean, when you said it was cold, thinking about it, like, it was cold. It was
raining and cold.
Raining and cold.
That's right, baby. It was raining and it was cold.
Oh my goodness! How did singing backup for the Culture Club? How did that come about?
You mean with Boy George? Let me tell you. George O'Dowd is so sweet. Look, there's a thing out here, that we have to face. Our lives are intermingled with a lot of personalities. We cannot help or be a part of what other people's lives are. But when we've been chosen to be an example of music and of spirit, that's where it goes. It can go under any kind of lifestyle. George showed me something as a showman that he had captured. He had it going on. He knows how to be a showman. He knows how to put on a performance. He knows how to look. He knows how to dress. He knows how to present. And that's what he did, and that's what all the other guys did as well, They all had a job, and they were called Culture Club. And they did it, I had a chance to see the internal parts of British lifestyle with the superstars, they would call it, And they had everything they wanted, but he also was very genuine and very real.
Right. Amazing. I mean, I've always wondered what he was like. I mean, he seems to be like such a fun type of person to want to, perform with. And I often wonder how did he handle performing with other people. I've heard so many different stories, and that was a very good question, Ditos, because that was something that I wanted to know as well. Who do you listen to? What artists do you like?
Mary.
Come on now.
I'm a Mary girl. I'm a Yolanda Adams girl. That's who I really listen to. And I listen to Sarah Vaughan, and I'm a caliber of different people. I love all kinds of music, but my real heart and soul is gospel. It's rooted there.
Do you ever go out when you go to? Do you ever go out just to go out, not to perform, but do you ever just go out to relax, go to like different clubs or different venues?
No, I chose not to be a part of that lifestyle because a lot of times people kind of they misunderstand why you go out.
Right.
They make it seem like when you're going out to hang to get recognized, and when you go to a club and you got to be in there all night long, sometimes until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning before you perform. You run a lot of people, you know, a lot of things are going on, and the only thing I want to know after that is the car, my seat, and my house, and my bed.
That's right. That's
you know what I'm saying? I mean, I love being able to hang out with some of my friends when we come together on a personal level, but going to hang out in clubs unless it's something very special or someone that I really love is going to be there, that's the only time that you see me do something like that. But I'm not a hanger-outer. I'm a mommy girl. I stay home with my kids, you know, and I stay home. I'm a homebody person.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Have you ever been to New Orleans?
Yes.
What's your best part about being in New Orleans?
The last time I was in New Orleans was when I opened up for Luther Vandross back in the day.
All right.
Okay, and that was the last time I was in New Orleans.
Wow.
It was a long time ago, yeah, and
Yes,
I had
it
never
was.
been there before. It was mesmerizing.
Yes, it is. It is most definitely that. You know, I would have loved to see you come back for our Essence Festival or our jazz festivals or something of that nature, or even some of the jazz cruises and stuff like that. I mean, I think it would be such a great thing to see you perform with Phil Perry and Mesa and those people. I think it would be so wonderful.
Yeah, I love those guys. Phil's great. I love him, and of course Mesa being my girl, she's off the easy. She's got it going on, you know. I really respect her. She's pioneered her career so well. And I respect her so much, you know.
Before
She's a good girl.
Right. I had the opportunity, matter of fact, we, the Soul FM, had the opportunity to interview her, and she's such a realist. I mean, she's just so down to earth. Everybody that we've interviewed here has been so monumental in the upcoming of this particular site that is wonderful, and we so appreciate you so much, Miss Brown. We appreciate you so much. You just don't know. I wanted to stop for a minute before we actually come off air, and I wanted to say a special thank you to Sensuality, to Sabrina. We call her Sensuality. Sabrina, she always say, don't use my government name. I say Sabrina Gibson.
Yes, Sabrina, yeah.
We know her as Cincy, you know, and I wanted to just say a special thank you to you, Sabrina, because what you do for us is monumental. You take the time out and you scout, and you talk to people, and you've made friends with people. You know, you know, Jocelyn Brown is your friend. She's not just another person. You know, and I wanted to thank you so much for the time that you take out, and it means so much to us. I mean, so much to us. And with that note, Jocelyn, I want to say to you, thank you for giving us this hour. We so appreciate you so very much that you just cannot imagine. The people in the chat room are waving at you. You know, I want to just give a quick shout out to them. We have Auntie Joe in the chat room. We have Ave, we have Brian, Charlie, Cheryl. We have Dante, Darius, Deedles, Dev, Dimitri, DJ Jazzarella, Edna, Heather, Haas, Isis, Lionel. We have Mary L, Mia, Mistress, Northern Lights, Nujila. We have Royal, Sable, Sadie, Cincy, Sean, Sweetest, myself, the Mac, and Tony. You guys, thank you so much for coming in and representing for Jocelyn Brown, because she's all that in a bag of chips.
Yes, sir. And like my mother used to say, a piece of chocolate cake and a piece of fried chicken to go with it.
Come on now. Come on now. We ain't talking about no diet cake either.
No, geez, even though I need to be on one,
Come on now.
Do it how we do down south, okay?
You know how we do. I'm about to go get me a piece of chicken right now.
Go ahead on now.
We love you so much.
Thank you so much for allowing this to happen. I appreciate everybody, and my love and respect to everyone, and blessings. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and you go ahead and get you some rest. God bless you always.
All right, my love. Y'all have a great evening, and I'll talk to you soon.
You too.
All righty.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
What a treat. What a treat. I want to take the time right now to thank each and every one of you, all of the followers for the Soul FM, all of the listeners, all the people who make the chat room what it is. I want to take the time right now to say thank you, because you don't have to be a part of this organization. And people like you make the Soul FM what it is today. And we thank you for that. And we thank you for coming in, and we thank you for being listeners. There you have it. We had a candid interview with Jocelyn Brown, who stayed up, who lives in London now, and stayed up to just hang with us. That meant a lot. So with that said, I want you guys to have a good night. May God continue to bless each and every one of you. And we'll see you tomorrow for DJ Jazzarella's Hump Day Happy Hour right here on the Soul FM, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See you there. I'm sorry, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the correction, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See you then. Peace.